what's going on. I think we've reached conspiracy fatigue. I think that because people don't know how to transmute the pursuit of rabbit holes to the quest for the holy mountain, that they are going to abort all the satisfying conclusions to the stories that we tell ourselves. A bunch of things are just going to collapse with the waveform of all of this. It's too much, right? It's becoming psychic torture on the normies because, for one thing, everybody has been talking about for a long time and jumping on what we talk about when we can pin the tail on Israel, right? And you've been hearing me just recently, and I'm not taking back anything I fucking said, but it has disgusted me that I continue to hear this reductionist Israel or reductionist Jew language. It gets us nowhere. And I think that Charlie Kirk died because he was about to transcend being a reductionist, dense motherfucker. Right? He also was about to transcend Protestant, if Candace Owens is to be believed. Right? But that's neither here nor there because that's all just his persona. But it's all in the mix of the details that only people on the right care about. You could talk about these details all day to the left. The only fucking shit they know is his fucking horse shit that he has fucking said in the past when he was more ignorant. What he has said about Zionism up until a month ago. Hey, what's up, Nick? Well, I'm not even saying he was, quote, waking up. He was going to have more clarity on the geopolitical situation between America and the Middle East. That's what was going to fucking happen. He could take that down a dark path. You don't get rock star status in Utah unless you're a certain kind of fucking Zionist. Right? And so Charlie was either brave or fool. Or he was making secret deals and because we know that he declined a deal from Netanyahu. That's what we know. We know that was also involved was a rejection of Israel's money, whether that be because he was suspicious or whether that be because he's a nationalist. And that's the problem, right? That's, and they want to use Israel as a nation for globalism, the way they want to use Jews as a race for this cultural malaise of the open society, right? This perversion of the goodwill understanding of our interest in inviting you here, right? And we got a serious problem where we like to protect our problems. America loves to protect its fucking problems. We love to protect our crime. We love to protect our poverty. We love it. We fucking love it. The people that follow the "I want to make you rich" rhetoric always fail to make you rich, and the people that want to keep you poor, they always win in robbing a productive person to allocate onto social welfare. And it becomes the major reason why you have to grow the police state, because the social welfare, pulling out the positive attitude towards work ethic, but it also doesn't help with the vicious cycle that the black community has been in, and hopefully, like, we're all breaking our ancestral curses, or our forefathers' curses, generational curses, as they are understood. I want to go straight. These generational curses, it serves us better to clean house in our house. There's too much irrationality, unfortunately, with what we've allowed our own personal divide to do. If the right was to expose the facts of Israel now with the radical left, it would make a massive political shift that will not resolve itself the way you would think. And I walk a terribly lonely line, because sometimes I say the alienating thing, sometimes I say the diplomatic thing. You know, sometimes I make nobody happy. Rarely do I make everybody happy. If ever. Making everybody happy is the unicorn. Pissing everybody off is... it's actually pretty hard to actually do that too. But it's very easy to piss off the majority. Definitely easy to piss off the majority. Hey, Susie Q. So, the persona that people were seeing at face value, thinking they know who a person is, has this deep sympathy, right? And you know, you see the mythos playing out on the Christian, right? Think of Who Stole the All-Father, Thomas Sheridan's report, right? The Who Stole the All-Father conversation. Now, we can easily ask the question then, right? If the Germanic Christian nationalist used to be an Asatru pagan back in the day, and the All-Father was the deal, then what does that make Mr. Kirk, Mr. Church? It makes him Balder. He is Balder. You just watched the death of Balder. You've also just watched the fucking bloodletting of the Kvasir, because he was also being a Kvasir. You know, these debates, this was like, it was verbal judo with a whole lot of fucking people. And he brought about a lot of, you know, he had more peaceful resolves with the people against him than not. And a lot of people don't understand that or can't appreciate that. Do I have to make a left? Wait, I think I have to make a left on this street. I'm right around the block from my bank, but I only come to my bank about once a month to deposit. But anyway, oh, Nicholas, you're in Utah. Yeah, dude, what's the psychic weather in Utah? How's the how's people's fucking situation, attitude? I want to know. This is I don't have any Utah people that I knowingly know with the thing, right? Let's see, I gotta go this way and go back around. But yeah, so for the Christians, that's literally what you got, because the second, like all the way through his entire fucking like public career, since he like truly popped up on this scene like 2016, 17, like when Turning Point like really went hot, right? He's been this threat, the whisper campaigns against him and the shouting campaigns against him, right? And the dark sorcerers, the black elves, they took him out. They took him out, and now you're seeing what they do, right? Trump, his father was an architect of Trump Tower. Did you know that about Mr. Kirkstad? Yes. So, oh my gosh, what a legend. Gavin Newsom. Oh my God, it's so tragic what just happened, right? It's just like all these liberals and shit. It's just like the snakes that all the Zionists and anti-Zionists, the one, because the false paradigm, and people didn't catch this false narrative. They missed it. They let it sneak right up on them. Right? And so nobody's asking why you're not seeing the this kind of I gotta go one more block actually. This why we aren't seeing them playing to the dog whistle of the Antifa attitude, right? So there's the conspiracy fatigue, but then there's also the fatigue of the entire radical movement, right? And so the question is, as we go into, like, I think we need to, as those of us on the conscious spectrum, the ones that are conscious and really doing it right, not just a guy listening to a podcast who just, you believe, but you don't really, and you may, it's just like, you may know about the conspiracy, like, there are things missing. This is why I strive for the depths that I do, because unfortunately I understand that for the informed field on the existential level of the people that sit there with the organized, legalized violence, to see where their gauge is at. We can't be so delusional, right, to think that we've got all these people. We don't. There's no, there's not going to be that kind of critical mass. If we're lucky, we don't get a horrible psyop emergency um, that, like the pandemic, is almost impossible to avoid, right? And that what we do get is both sides, like, just basically giving up certain levels of the way that they are for the sake of fucking getting along. Which may be asking a whole lot of people that were, you know, about to wake up and do wrong because of tipping the iceberg without knowing all of the fucking real facts and getting the wrong people hurt, which was part of the same logic and rationale about withholding the Epstein list. And he may be, in fact, fucking right about that. Right? Right? Which I don't like saying that. I'm not trying to play into narratives, because then that plays into conspiracy theories of, oh, you see, Trump's all right. He was actually an FBI informant, so he was like a patriotic spy, right? And now Trump is a hero in espionage, because him being an FBI informant is the only fucking alibi that Trump's got as an excuse for why he's on the list if it's legitimate, right? You wouldn't say that if he wasn't on a legitimate fucking record. You would not have to say he was an FBI informant, unless you are sowing confusion on purpose. But, you know, if people are going to be suspicious, people are going to be suspicious. I can't really dictate how that's going to roll. You know, they're taking a gamble too on whatever psychology seems to be the right move for the body politic. And you know, sometimes they miscalculate, and that's when the higher force can perform a miracle. And that miscalculation, you know, involves some sort of steering that got through, bypasses everything, and then one fucking reporter asks the right fucking question, right? You know, some weird thing, and then it makes some small change that has reverberations across the spectrum, right? When did we come to the psychic point where we said, time to fucking lay off of soft drugs? When did we sit there and say, you know what, they're right, even though the drugs are in the mix of the criminal problems, it's not, this is not the way of doing effective community security, right? So, for real, I think we all need to table what's up with the existential, with the exception of some aspects of sound wisdom. You know, have a bug out bag for the sake of just there being a little bug out bag, right? But, you know, you don't give terrible amount of psychic charge to it, you know, asking it to fulfill the promise of a reason to bug out. You know? And try not to be insane with the existential messages. And they're going to work very hard to make them seem more real each time. They're going to improve their word craft and their presentation as they go, right? I don't even like thinking about the idea that they deep fake something, because I saw one photo out of context of somebody claiming that Kirk's shooting was a deep fake because the wedding ring was on the wrong finger. Right? And so I haven't heard any of that. Like, I haven't seen any of, none of the he faked his death is in my radar. Everything in my radar, like, I haven't heard anybody in my circle, I haven't seen anything in any of the conspiracy feeds I've been listening to have a headline like, was Charlie Kirk a deep fake, right? Like, that's not even in my thing. So it's in somebody's wheelhouse. It's not in mine. And I've looked at 3 or 4 different angles of the event and watched them several times. Yeah. So don't let this dark spellcraft of this mockery of our mythos of Baldur and the Kvasir manipulate you, because it's doing exactly what Galar, Fjallar, and Loki want you to do. Fuck those guys.